Hey guys, we're talking about multiplication facts. This is round 2. Learning targets for today are I can find factors of numbers, I can define and list prime and composite numbers. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to show you today is a fact triangle, which you've probably seen before. And just to review with our fact triangles, the ones listed in the bottom two corners are the factors. And then at the top, and there's usually a dot at the top. I forgot to put my dot in here, so let me make a little dot really quick. Whatever the number is by the dot, that is the product when we talk about at least multiplication fact triangles, okay? And so here we could write 1 times 2, so our factors, is equal to, switch my color, 2. And then if I wanted to do it the other way around, because I know my turnaround facts, 2, my factor 2, times 1, my other factor, I know that that is going to equal the product 2 as well. All right? So something I want you to notice about the product number 2 is that there's only 2 factors that make it. There's no other factors that can make the product 2. It's just the numbers 1 and 2. So when that situation happens, when there's a number or a product that has only one factor pair, this would be, let me change my color for you. 1 and 2 would be the factor pair. Remember, a pair is like a pair of socks. Here's my really bad socks. That's a pair. P-A-I-R. And when you have a pair of something, one pair means you have 1, 2. So you have 2 of something in one pair. So we have a pair of factors. We have 1 factor and 2 factors. So when we have 1 factor pair for a number, that means it's going to be a prime number. And an easy way to remember this is that it's just the number 1 and whatever the product number is. In this case, it's 2. Okay, so that's an example of a prime number. We have other numbers as well, aside from prime numbers, and they're called composite numbers. So composite and prime. And some of the similarities between these two, I'm going to do a double bubble map for you. Both of them involve the original number, or as you'll see later, the product. So they both have that. And they also both have the number 1. So they have the original number, or the product, and the number 1 as a factor pair, okay? Then it gets a little bit different. For prime numbers, they only have the 1 factor pair, and in that case, it's going to be the original number, or the product, times the number 1. Composite numbers, on the other hand, they can have at least 2 factor pairs. In many cases, they have many more. So the main difference, prime numbers just have 1 factor pair. Composite numbers have at least 2 factor pairs. Let's take a look at some examples of our counting numbers and think about this. What 2 factors can you multiply together to get the product or the number? So for the number 2, we know that it's going to be prime, and the factor pair is just the number 1 and 2, because we can do 1 times 2 using the factor pair 1 and 2, and that gives us 2. We can do the turnaround 2 times 1, and it's still 2. There are no other multiplication factors that will make the number 2, at least for whole numbers. Let's take a look at the number 3, prime or composite. So think about what 2 factors can you multiply together to get 3. It's going to be prime because the only factor pair it has are the numbers 1 and 3, or the factors 1 and 3. So the only way you can get the number 3 with multiplying whole numbers is to use 1 times 3 or 3 times 1. The number 4, think about it. What 2 factors can you multiply together to get the product or the number 4? And if you caught this one, you would say composite because it has 2 factor pairs. Here's one of them, 1 and 4. 1 times 4, there's that 1 again showing up, just like the prime number. And 4, the 4 is our product. But we also can get the number 4 by going 2 times 2. So we have 2 factor pairs, so it's more than 2, or at least 2, so we call it a composite number. So 4 is a composite number. 5, think about it, is prime. The factor pair is 1 and 5. And we're just going to go up to the number 6 today. But we could go on and on and on if you wanted to. 6 is a composite number because we have the factor pair 1 and 6, or 1 times 6. And then we can also get the product 6 by doing 2 times 3, or 3 times 2. So 1 and 6, 2 and 3, those are the factor pairs for the number 6.